From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana Siddiqui. Representative Rashida Tlaib is urging U.S. protection for the global Sumud flotilla carrying aid to Gaza, warning against attacks and accusing Washington of ignoring genocide. This and more in today's show, so stay tuned. Palestinians largely remain skeptical about President Donald Trump's 20-point Gaza peace plan. Their main concern is the absence of a clear path toward a Palestinian state and the lack of commitment to a full Israeli withdrawal. The Palestinian Authority cautiously welcomed U.S. efforts, but stressed the need for guarantees on humanitarian aid, prisoner releases, and mechanisms to protect civilians. Hamas says it is still studying the plan. Islamic Jihad has called it an American-Israeli attempt to impose on Palestinians what war could not achieve. The plan has been welcomed across much of the world. Leaders from Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Jordan, Pakistan, Indonesia, the UAE, and Turkey praised Trump's initiative. They said it could end the genocide, rebuild Gaza, prevent Palestinians' displacement, and revive hopes for a two-state solution. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan commended Trump's leadership. Officials in Ankara said the follow-up agreement may address Palestinian concerns and include finer details related to Israeli withdrawal, as well as a credible pathway toward Palestinians' right to self-determination. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif called durable peace essential for regional stability. Reactions also poured in from Europe and Asia. France, Germany, Britain, and the European Union urged Israel and Hamas to seize the opportunity. India, China, and Russia expressed support. Israeli opposition leaders also praised the plan, though some far-right ministers rejected it. However, analysts warned that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu may resist its implementation. Despite President Donald Trump's 20-point truce plan to end the genocide in Gaza, Israel killed at least 45 Palestinians since dawn Tuesday. In central Gaza, Israeli soldiers shot and killed 18 people seeking aid. Separately, 16 people were killed in Gaza City. The Palestinian Health Ministry in Gaza also reports a growing famine death toll. 453 people have now died from malnutrition, including 150 children, due to Israel's months-long ongoing blockade of food and humanitarian aid to the region. A UN-backed body declared famine in Gaza in August. In a separate development, more than 100 Israeli settlers stormed the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. They performed prayers under armed guards. Israel's genocide in Gaza has killed at least 66,055 people and wounded 168,346 since October 2023. Thousands more are believed to be buried under the rubble. The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza. A 7-year-old Palestinian girl in Gaza has lost the ability to walk. Her name is May Abu Arar. Doctors say she is suffering from severe malnutrition caused by Israel's blockade. At Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, May lies frail and in pain. Her mother says her weight dropped from 20 kilograms before the war to just 12 now. She cannot stand. Even wearing clothes or going to the bathroom has become difficult, she said. The family fled northern Gaza after repeated Israeli strikes. They survive on small amounts of milk and water when aid reaches them. May's condition reflects the wider crisis. Israel has shut all Gaza crossings since March, blocking food, medicine, and aid. Doctors warn that fresh food, fruit, and vegetables are almost impossible to find. Children rely on canned food, which has led to wasting, hair loss, and infections. Dr. Ahmed Khalaf says May is one of many children with muscle loss and skin lesions. He said her condition is a direct result of war, blockade, and the collapse of Gaza's health system. The United Nations has already declared famine in Gaza City. It warns the disaster is spreading to Deir al-Balah and Khan Yunis. May's mother hopes her daughter can leave Gaza for treatment. She also pleads for an end to the war and the suffering of children. Israeli forces have closed the Ibrahimi Mosque in Hebron for 3 days. The closure began Tuesday and will last until Thursday evening. Muslim worshippers are barred from entering prayer halls, courtyards and nearby facilities. The move is linked to Jewish religious holidays. Local reports say the Israeli occupying army also imposed a curfew on eastern Hebron neighborhoods. Residents of Al-Salema, Jabir, Wadi al-Hussein, Wadi al-Nasara, and Arras are under strict movement bans. Main roads, including Al-Sahla Street, have been sealed off. Palestinian activists call the step collective punishment. The Palestinian Ministry of Waqf and Religious Affairs condemned it as a violation of religious freedom and an attempt to Judaize the mosque. The site is recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site under threat. Officials are urging global bodies to intervene. They warn that the closure reflects a broader strategy to restrict Muslim access and worship at the sacred site. Congresswoman Tlaib is demanding protection for a humanitarian flotilla sailing to Gaza. In a letter to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Tlaib urged the Trump administration to guarantee safe passage for the global Sumud convoy. She said the ships are carrying vital aid, including medical supplies, to Palestinians facing starvation under Israel's ongoing months-long blockade. Tlaib, the first Palestinian-American woman in Congress, accused the administration of failing to stop genocide in Gaza. She warned against any hostile action targeting the flotilla. More than a dozen lawmakers co-signed the letter. The global Sumud flotilla, made up of dozens of ships, is the largest mission of its kind. Organizers say it symbolizes Palestinian steadfastness and nonviolent resistance. Sky News Australia has axed conservative right-wing political commentator Freya Leach's Sunday night program. This is after a guest launched what observers say was a shocking attack on Islam while wearing a shirt covered in raw bacon. Ryan Williams, a Scottish national, declared before going live that he had enough strength to fight Islam. On air, he called Muslims terrorists and claimed that bacon would protect him from threats. Much of what he said was too offensive to repeat. Sky said staff cut him off quickly. Leach apologized, and the segment was not rebroadcast. A review has since been completed, and the news channel claims that appropriate action was taken. Observers recalled that in 2018, Sky hosted far-right Australian extremist and neo-Nazi Blair Cottrell. Yusuf Islam, formerly known as Cat Stevens, has canceled his North American book tour after being denied a U.S. visa. Details after the break, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back. A Republican candidate in Texas is facing backlash for vowing to end Islam in the state. Valentina Gomez, who is running for the 31st Congressional District, posted a video in which she burns a copy of the Quran. She repeated her claim that America is a Christian nation. On X, Gomez alleged that even President Donald Trump views Islam as a threat. She wrote that New York City would fall under Muslims and become dangerous for Jews, Christians, and Hindus. This is not the first time Gomez has made such remarks. In August, she released another video in which she torched a copy of the Quran during her campaign pitch. The post was deleted, but clips continue to circulate online. Civil rights groups and faith leaders have condemned her comments as hateful and dangerous. Gomez remains in the race for the 2026 elections, despite mounting criticism and calls to drop her campaign. Yusuf Islam, formerly known as Cat Stevens, has canceled his North American book tour after being denied a U.S. visa. Islam was set to promote his memoir On the Road to Find Out in October. Officials gave no public explanation, but his Free Palestine stance has drawn criticism in the U.S. The singer, who was once one of the world's most popular folk voices, accepted Islam in 1977. He was previously barred from entering the U.S. in 2004, but later allowed in 2006. Zohran Mamdani hit back at President Donald Trump after he threatened to cut federal funds if Mamdani wins New York City's mayoral election in November. Mamdani accused Trump of interfering in the election to push former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who is now running as an independent. Mamdani now leads polls by double digits over Cuomo. Mamdani said Trump wants a mayor who would serve his agenda, not that of New Yorkers. Earlier, Trump, who is a native New Yorker, threatened that Mamdani would have problems with Washington like no mayor in history. On his platform Truth Social, he called the frontrunner a self-proclaimed communist, though Mamdani is a democratic socialist. Trump vowed that Mamdani would get no federal support for what he called fake communist promises. The exchange comes after current mayor Eric Adams dropped out of the race. New Yorkers vote on November 4th. A U.S. government shutdown could hit the economy hard if it lasts beyond a few days. Analysts say a shutdown starting on Wednesday looks likely as Republicans and Democrats remain deadlocked over funding. Some services, such as Social Security and the military, will continue, but many agencies would stop work. Economists say about 900,000 federal workers could be laid off, with pay delayed or jobs at risk. That would raise unemployment temporarily and cut growth by up to 0.2 percentage point each week. Markets may also lose key signals. Shutdowns have delayed vital reports such as jobs and inflation data that guide the Federal Reserve on interest rates. The September jobs report due this week may not be released. Consumer confidence is already fragile with high inflation and a weakening labor market. Past shutdowns ended with workers getting back pay, but Trump's administration has hinted at permanent layoffs, raising uncertainty for the economy. A United Nations investigative body says Rohingya villages in Burma have been destroyed and their land seized. The new report was released Monday by the Independent Investigative Mechanism for Myanmar. It comes ahead of a high-level UN conference in New York on the Rohingya crisis. Investigators found homes, farms, mosques, and property were burned, flattened, and seized during the 2017 clearance operations. The land was later used to build security bases and projects backed by corporations. Nicholas Kumjian, head of the UN mechanism, said Rohingya must be allowed to return home. But he warned in many cases their homes, even their villages, no longer exist. The report says Rohingya repatriation must include restitution and support to rebuild communities. The study used satellite images, video, documents, and witness accounts. It looked at 7 village tracts in northern Rakhine State. Mio Tugi was once home to more than 800 homes, shops, markets, and mosques. By 2018, more than 400 acres were burned and cleared. A large border guard police base was built in their place. Beneficiaries included Myanmar's Home Ministry, which financed the base expansion, and companies such as Asia World Company that helped build roads and outposts. The international community has long called for the safe, voluntary, and dignified return of the Rohingya. But the UN report says without restitution, rebuilding, and justice, that return will remain only a promise. London's mayor is hitting back at President Donald Trump. Trump claimed that London is under a kind of Sharia law. Mayor Sadiq Khan's office called the comments bigoted. Trump made the remarks at the UN General Assembly. He called Khan a terrible mayor. Trump said London was changing and that they want to go to Sharia law. Trump's claims echo far-right conspiracy theories. They falsely link Khan, London's first Muslim mayor, to radicalism. But Sharia law is not recognized in the UK. Khan has also never called for its adoption. Khan's spokesperson said they would not dignify Trump's remarks with a full response. They called London the greatest city in the world. They also said it's safer than major U.S. cities. This is not the first time Trump has attacked Khan. The feud has lasted almost a decade. Trump often claims London has a crime wave. He says crime is through the roof. Metropolitan Police data show London's 2024 homicide rate was 11.8 per million residents, lower than several major U.S. cities, including Washington, D.C. Scientists at the University of St. Andrews have made a major breakthrough that could bring holograms to smartphones. Until now, holograms have relied on bulky lasers, but researchers found a new way of using two familiar technologies: holographic metasurfaces and organic light-emitting diodes already used in phone displays. This new combination is simpler, smaller, and potentially cheaper to produce. The team found that when these two components work together, they can create the basic building block for a holographic display. This innovative method could lead to holograms becoming a reality for everyday devices and applications, from gaming to communication. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. Please donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.